Hello once again, welcome to our channel. Channel po natin ito mga kapatid, sama-sama po tayo dito. Muli sa ang sulok man ng mundo kayo ngayon ay mabuhay po kayo at nawa ay nasa maayos kayong kalagayan at malayo sa anumang mabibigat na karamdaman. Mga kapatid, ramdam ko ang bigat ng dinadala ng bawat isa. Subalit huwag po tayo mawawalan ng pag-asa. Sa Diyos na lumikha tayo ay kumapit, manampalataya at humingi ng gabay at lakas. Alalahanin po natin na ang kalaban ay parang liyong umuungal na naghahanap ng masisila niya. Nasa gitna po tayo ng giyera at hindi natin alam kung sino at saan galing ang kaaway. Kaya maging mapagmatsyag po tayo at huwag magpapadala sa matatamis na dila, kundi gamitin po natin ang ating isip at puso na maging matalas ang pakiramdam. Hindi natin kailangan maging close sa isa't isa dahil diyan madalas umatake ang kaaway. Nakikita niya kung paano niyang gigibain ang isang magandang relasyon. Kaya mabuting manahimik at maging mapagmatsyag. Ganun pa man ay wag natin kalimutan at alisin ang ating paggawa upang suportahan ang ating mahal na Reyna, Queen Helen Abdurrahjak, sa kanyang misyon at ginagawang pag-expose sa mga katiwalian ng mga leader na politiko. Sa ngayon ay nais ko pong ihatid sa inyo ang isang pasabog na talaga namang nakakanginig ng laman, nakakawasak ng damdamin at kayo na ang humusga. Para po ito sa inyo lalo na sa mga hindi pa nakakapanood o nakakapakinig ng live video ng mahal na Reyna, Queen Helen Abdurrahjak, dated October 25, 2023. Ito ang patunay ng labanan sa pagitan ng code na 666 versus 999. Ito ang mga bagay na sinalita na noon pa ng mahal na Reyna, Queen Helen Abdurrahjak, at kayo na ang humusga kung anong parusa sa ganitong walang puso at walang kaluluwa. Narito po at ating pakinggan once again, Her Majesty Queen Helen Abdurrahjak.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Live from our Imperial News TV and from the land of our forefathers, this is Queen Helen Abdurrahjak Elizabeth III, October 26, 2023, the justification of all the things that I have been saying about the fight between 666 and the code of 999. I'd like to read to you the special documents that I keep on saying that it is signed by Gloria Arroyo and W. Bush of the United States of America. If you contest into it, this is the time that we have to litigate them all and prove themselves into the court of law. So, this was signed and given in November 20, 2001. Remember, that was the height of the war in Maguindanao, in Cotabato, and in Mindanao. President of the Republic of the Philippines, Gloria Arroyo. My great and good friend, that's how he addressed the President George W. Bush. I have the honor to inform His Excellency, the great world leader of my government's unequivocal and unconditional support for Your Excellency's strong political will and determination to quash the pillars of the global terrorism masquerading under Al-Qaeda's global Islamic movement, wherever it is and whatever form it takes. The Philippines is with America and not with the terrorists. Your Excellency's long-range program for global repositioning and crusade against terrorism deserves the commendation and explicit support of all the countries in the world that face the danger of this global phenomenon, which threatens the politicians' stability and the very existence of their global respective governments. As a country besieged by the communist insurgency, Moro secessionism, Abu Sayyaf banditry and terrorism, military coup d'etat, and anti-mobs, the Philippines cannot but look forward for a stronger political and military assistance from her mother, civilizer and colonizer, the United States of America, for survival and prosperity. My government is the view that the United States of America is now in a position to execute her noble program of global repositioning and crusade against terrorism, even though the current war in Afghanistan and the establishment of American military bases in all strategic countries that could be fully utilized to further stabilize the economy of Your Excellency's great union. These countries, mostly third world countries in Asia, in black continent whose rich natural resources are yet exhibited, are vast markets of U.S. surplus products like information technology products and various types of war hardware. For example, Your Excellency's active military postures in various strategic countries already identified by the State Department and Central Intelligence Agency, etc., the Philippines, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So my dear friends, these are the specific language, the lingo that our former President Gloria Arroyo has really written to W. Bush. Just imagine, that is already a very powerful avenue to really give justice to these people that up to now do not surrender. We are all terrorists as branded by them. How the government used the peace process, how they utilized the office of the president to do such a very inhuman loss in the protection of their interests and their conspiracy with the United States. To continue with, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan may push forward and strengthen the grip of your great nation's control over the world's politics, economy, and military capabilities. Once the bases are established in these countries, the emerging role of Your Excellency as world leader and your great country as global policeman stands unchallenged, feared, and undisputable. It may fill the vacuum of balanced power of the region once the great Asia-Pacific co-prosperity rim envisaged by Your Excellency's government is realized in this decade. My government, wow, he already assumed herself, to be able really to give that strong support to the government of America. My government, Gloria said, is fully aware that oil, gas reserves in those Muslim-dominated states in the Caspian region and Central Asia are vital to the economic interest of Your Excellency's government. Once the United States controls Afghanistan, which is the most feasible route for the gas pipeline to be built soon by the conglomeration of Unocal, Exxon, Shell, and Bridas. The dramatic terrorist attacks against the towering symbols of American economic and military might last September 11 had intensified the American resolve to lead the world politically, economically, and militarily to save mankind from Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda terrorism and global Islamic movement, who unruly uses Islam as a means in topping down moderate and American-friendly Islamic governments in the Middle East, Central, and Southeast Asia. Your Excellency, the planned establishment of military bases will strengthen the borderless crusades against the rising menace of Islamic fundamentalism and terrorism all over the world. Like all democratic nations, my government believes that Islam has virtually replaced the threat of communism after the collapse of the former USSR as democracy's archenemy. Portions of recent CIA reports furnished to my National Security Council by the U.S. Embassy in Manila identified Islam as the world's fastest growing religion in terms of population count, with specific concentration in Indonesia, India, Pakistan, Egypt, Turkey, and the Commonwealth of Independent States. The rise of Islamic militancy in the Southeast Asian countries poses a big threat to the political stability of moderate and monarchical Islamic government like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei Darussalam. Southern Thailand is also threatened by the influence of the militant opposition Parti Keadilan Nasional and Parti Sem Malaysia, which has recently created its armed group like Kumpulan Militan Malaysia. Myanmar is also endangered by the global Islamic movement, which had created this well-armed Arakan Rohingya Islamic Front and the Rohingya Solidarity Organization. The stronghold of the Vatican in Asia Pacific, the Philippines, is also endangered by the global Islamic movement, which local role is played by the Moro Islamic Liberation Front and the Moro National Liberation Front, that is the MILF and the MNLF. I humbly submit, Your Excellency, that the immediate liberation and eventual alliance between the Philippines and the Christian-dominated areas in the region, such as Sabah, Sarawak, Malaysia, Moluccas and Sulawesi, Indonesia, and the Paz and the East Timor, can only be realized once Your Excellency's government is in full control of the Asia-Pacific Rim. Christianity must have a base and power in Southeast Asia and the Pacific to break the monopoly of the Antichrist nation in the archipelago region. My government, however, has overwhelmingly co-opted key MNLF officials to form a breakaway faction, We Christian MNLF Executive Council of 15. Wow! Gloria Arroyo is the author of the Council of 15. We have set regional elections for expanded Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, the ARMM, this month to install them as protege, who's replaced Normis Wari, who is now hiding but is currently under attack by the armed forces of the Philippines in his coastal lair in Sulu. Our cooperation of Malaysia to arrest Miswari once he flees to Sabah and turns him over to Manila for future persecution. As soon as installed in different ARMM agencies, we shall cripple the MNLF EC, Executive Council 15, afterwards so that it remains leaderless, toothless, and incapacitated like its mother front. What a terrible mess, Madam Gloria! You create and you annihilate like what you have done with the former one? Such a life of killings. Terrible. I feel like nauseated of what you have done. I just read it now. All of those MNLF that suffered quite a lot, that had been killed. This is very, very inhuman. I further express my appreciation, Gloria said to Bush, for re-enlisting the New People's Army, the NPA, in the State Department updated list of terrorist organizations that are targets of future military strikes in the US-led war without borders. Wow! That is why America can land anytime. They are open sky. This is now the proof why Malacañang has to be given justice. Bongbong, have you seen this? You will shoulder the justice that the people would need from MNLF, from MILF, from BIFF, from NPA, all of these people using Malacañang. This is the basic proof that you shall be put into the litigation of the poor people. Using the diplomatic action, using the government's properties and assets, using the leaders, the military, to be put to death. She continued rather, in saying the president, the bilateral diplomatic actions of my country and Malaysia against the Moro separatists will save both countries from dismemberment due mainly to create the Republic of Sulu and Sabah as envisioned by Miswari and former Sabah Chief Minister Tun Mustafa bin Dato Harun and the Bangsamoro Islamic State being pushed through violently by the MILF in covert connivance with Malaysia's special branch and Jabatan Perdana Menteri, which assists the MILF gain control, recognition from the Saudi-controlled Organization of Islamic Conference, OIC. My government sought the good office of the Prime Minister of Malaysia, His Excellency Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, to convince the MILF to resume the stalled peace talks and not to interfere with our domestic problem as what he is doing now. This is very, very, very bad for you, Madam Gloria, putting us into the worst conspiracy, the worst kind of doing with all of these things that you have done. You know, my heart is really pumping so hard because you people You love her? You love the government? This is the proof why they have been using the governments to put war. Because of their desire to control the oil field. She has been assigned already the Malampaya. Where is the money? Where are the proceeds of that? Mahathir is here. Remember how he really annihilated the camps in Abubakar in 2001 war? Now, they are hailing Murad. So what kind of government do we have? It's a playground of the Game of Thrones. Your Excellency, she added on, the success of the CIA and our National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, the NICA, in creating the Abu Sayyaf and the Pentagon kidnap for ransom groups as part of the counterinsurgency programs to justify the return of the U.S. bases in the Philippines can be now in use as cost caliber in eliminating the risk of dismemberment of challenge of secessionism being posted by the MILF. The MILF fighters have the bravery of their forebears who survived the crusade of Spain and who defied the barrel of the gun where the MILF can succumb. Our one-man pressure group secretary Norberto Gonzales, you are here, is doing his job well to dismantle the MILF leadership like what he did to the MNLF. Though failed, the capitulation of Professor Moner Badjunaid is enough evidence that MILF hierarchy would soon be penetrated, if not destroyed, in the second all-out war. The peace talks we have with MILF are nothing but tactics used to delay time, while my government is negotiating financial and material assistance from Your Excellency's Defense Department. I feel like crying. People of Mindanao, as I read this one, the world is watching. I was asked by this, where did you get this? From Miss Wari. It was given to me. Let the dead come. Or let this Miss Wari you are talking with to read this. And let Gloria Arroyo read this. Because the people of the world will know of who she is in conspiracy with the top leaders of the world. You know what she said more? I avail myself of this occasion to convey to Your Excellency the apologies of the Filipino people for the kidnapping of Guillermo Sobero, Martin, and Gracia Burnham last May 27. The entry of OSPACOM in Mindanao through Balikatan can finally free them soon. They made the Abu Sayyaf out of the money of the 10 billion of Queen Mama give to Raja Mamay in 1999. And what kind of people are you? The money of Raja Mamay from the Queen of England, after knowing that the grandson is alive and the true Sultan, you made the Abu Sayyaf. And now you made the conspiracy. You kidnapped. Yalla. Such a very horrible woman. Yet, they love her, malacañang. Bongbong, you still love her? Do you still have to bring her out? Or you are going to declare that she is dead? This is already the people will decide on this. May I inform you, Your Excellency, that while pursuing all-out peace policy with MILF, my National Security Council has resolved not to revoke Oplan Mindanao to Black Rain because we are of the view that the MILF is still the Philippines' foremost threat to national security, which, if not eliminated at this year, will elevate itself into regional security threat, considering its vital experience and expertise in the previous global wars. With your assistance, my government is firm in forcing the MILF by undermining all agreements and commitments we have in the past, including those agreed upon the Tripoli and Kuala Lumpur. I have already ordered the armed forces of the Philippines to redeclare all-out war against the MILF in March next year, while the Kalayaan Aguila 2002 of Mindanao Balikatan 02-01 in progress. You see, my dear people of God, we were misled. We were oppressed, suppressed, killed because of the greed for power and money, because of malacañang doing. All of you MILF, you are all crazy. You were put to death. And now you follow Murad. Murad is only a puppet by Malacañang. Such a horrible way of making all these things. I feel like vomiting. You see, these are names after names now. Because you did not want me. I wanted to keep this already buried. But you push me to the wall so that you people will be put to justice. Maybe Gitmo is good for you. Now, those people telling me, stop bickering. You will be the one, the next, that I will be arresting for being a conspirators. All government officials, all military are part of this schematic killings in Mindanao. You know, he continued wooing Bush. I have also advised the Confederation of Governors and City Mayors in Mindanao, led by Cotabato Governor Emmanuel Piñol, a mortal enemy of MILF, and the Moros. Wow! Mr. Piñol? Gloria Arroyo has branded you that? Hala, to pass a resolution calling for the expansion of the war games from Basilan and Zamboanga to include Central Mindanao, most particularly in Maguindanao, Lanao provinces, the Davao provinces, Cotabato provinces, South Cotabato, Sarangani, Sulu and Tawi-Tawi, where the MILF, NLF, and NPA are concentrated. It will become a formal basis for the destruction of all remaining MILF strongholds in Mindanao, particularly the mineral-rich of Ligwasan Mars. It is just but right, Madam Gloria, that I surface, that I told you that I'm gonna fight you. Now, with this, you will see that names after names will be given to the entire world because of what you have done, as evidence with your all-out war in 2001 and 2002. This is the greatest harassment that you have done, the killings. This will have really to give you the blow of your mind. Congress, Senate. This is part of the book. This is the part of the book that I give you. but you take for granted because you thought you can still conceal the truth. You see, even the National Security Council's chief that time, Roy Legoles, has renamed Oplan Mindanao 2 Black Rain into Oplan Kalayaan, Aguila 02, very minimal, has been changed from the original Oplan Mindanao 2 Black Rain, especially now that the MILF does not have camps to show. Phase 2 reactivate of Oplan Mindanao 2 is modified in Oplan Kalayaan, Aguila 2002 to read as A. Conduct of the three-pronged strategy: development, siege, militarization, and forward political negotiations. Galing! Wonderful! Very good, Gloria! And the Department of National Defense, and all of you right now, listen up. Listen up. America has no more authority. After March 22, 2015, the police power. That's why I am using right now the Union of the Royal Philippines Against Police Oppression. This is the basis of what I am reading to you. Letter B, conduct of increasing military warfare and psychological warfare operations. C, conduct of military advanced training on anti-guerrilla warfare under the disguise of Balikatan 0201 RPUS military training exercises in consonance with the VFA and other treaties. Wow, very, very promising using the government, using the law, using the immigration law, using everything just to pressure and to kill the leaders. Letter D, increase pressure on the hardline MILF Central Committee members to drop Islamic State demand. The pressure group of Secretary Bert Gonzales is now composed of respected Muslim puppets working in the government, namely, 1. Professor Munir Badjunaid, DILG Assistant Secretary Abraham Eribani, DPWH Secretary Simeon Datomano, SPDA Administration Sam Marmin Apatuan, Representative Jerry Salapudin, ARMM Regional Governor Dr. Farooq Hussein, ARMM Regional Vice Governor Dr. Mahi Mutilan, Governor Andal Ampatuan, Governor Pax Manguda Dato, Governor Wahab Akbar, Governor Yusuf Jikri, Mayor Omar Sulaiman, and Mayor Muslimin Sema. It is Gloria telling you you are the puppets. All of you Muslim leaders, you are nothing but puppets. Letter E, to grant ethnic groups political entity in consonance with the activation and application against the MILF of the invisible war doctrine strategy developed by Colonel Victor Incorpus, Philippine Army. F, increased political strategy both on local and international front to be spearheaded by Vice President and Foreign Affairs Secretary Teofisto Gingona Jr., Presidential Advisor on Peace Process Eduardo Ermita, and Secretary Norberto Gonzales. Membership of this front may include Muslim government officials who have capitulated earlier and Muslim envoys such as Abraham Banarin Gimnumla, Ambassador Candidato Gutok, Ambassador Mualam, Ambassador Sukarno Tanggol, my government will try all means to sign as early as January next year the Acquisition and Cost Servicing Agreement, now renamed RP, U.S. Mutual Logistics Support Agreement, the RP Mutual Defense Treaty, and the RP U.S. Military Assistance Agreement. The approval of these arrangements and its terms of reference can pave way for the establishment of permanent U.S. military bases in Southeast Asia once the planned Balikatan exercises, which we dubbed Kalayaan Aguila 2002 or Mindanao Balikatan 0201, have been materialized. Kalayaan Aguila is synonymous with the Asian countries' demand for freedom from MILF and global Islamic threat through the might of the American eagle. Wow! And now you used Barb using MILF. What a strategy! Muslim are puppets by the office of the President of the Malacañang Palace since the time of Aquino. Wow! Can you just imagine? Can you still continue, Mayor Amin? Can you swallow this kind of treatment from the President's office up to now? You are all little human being puppets. Nobody, nothing. That is the category of all the Muslim as stipulated by this. The coastlines of Sarangani province. The U.S. built and funded Makar Wharf and the General Santos City International Standard Airport have now become ready for occupancy bases for the U.S. Pacific Command or other unified commands. The following ports, air bases, and seaports have already been approved and cleared for Kalayaan Aguila, used to wit airports: Zamboanga International Airport, General Santos City Airport, Standard Airport, Davao International Airport, Cagayan de Oro Airport, Awang Airport, air bases: Edwin Andrews Air Base, Buayan Airport, Benito Ebuen Air Base, Fernando Air Base, Antonio Air Base, Nichols Air Base, seaports: Port of Zamboanga, Makar Wharf, Port of Pulyok. Wow! It's really very, very, from here you can see how evil the woman that could do this. But who is behind him or her that really have done this? Port of Davao, Port of Cagayan de Oro, Port of Iligan, Port of Pagadian, Port of Isabela, Port of Jolo, Port of Bongao. Our choice of Mindanao, where the MILF has gained global military prominence, is logical, strategic, and necessary decision if we have to bring to an immediate end the MILF's emergent role as Taliban of Southeast Asia. We are like chicken targeted to be killed because you belong to the group of MILF. No wonder Ama Pandala told me to save the poor ones away from the killings that has been planned by the government. This is it. Now you are still carrying it up. Can you deny me of the fact this is being done by you, not mine? Terrible. After thorough analysis and evaluation by the Defense Department, it pleases my government to express its approval of different areas in the Philippines that are targeted zones of joint military exercises, except for the international disputed oil-rich Kalayaan Islands. I wish to reiterate the approved targets as per recommendation of the National Security Council, to wit, red targets, all in PA regional operation commands with special concentration to Medardo Arce, command C-555, and Milito Glor, command C-63, and older fronts to include Bayan Muna Karapatan, MCPA, Gabriela Khadija, LFS, KMU, etc. Black targets, all kidnap for ransom groups including Abu Sayyaf Group, K-6666, Faisal Pentagon, Maruhum Zar Group, K-391, Pentagon 3, Lorenzana Group, K-393, Samrod Mamansual, Pentagon 4, Baloyot Group, K-394, Bagis Group, K-396, and Ping Lacson Group, K-12. Wow! Ping Lacson is the target. For the green targets, we have all known ILF players, specifically Pagulintangan Base, I-01, Lake Michigan Base, I-02, Sultan Bantugan Base, I-03, Green Wetland Base, I-04, Mamlu Sierra Madre Base, I-05, Salman Rodsdig Base, N-15, Mayor Base, N-16, Maharlika Base, N-17, Labuan Base, N-18, Nara Base, N-19, Marwan Base, N-20, Admiral Coast Base, N-31, and Turtle Base, N-32. Mutual benefits from MLSA. Through this arrangement, the AFP may realize its long overdue program of modernization, thereby maintaining the capability of our security forces to combat terror and protect Philippine sovereignty. My government is pleased to seek financial and material assistance from Your Excellency's Defense Department that would include the robust training package equipment needed for increased mobility and maintenance program to enhance AFP's overall capabilities, law and enforcement, and counter-terrorism cooperation, and new bilateral defense consulting mechanism. Specifically, the AFP needs to have the following defense hardware included in the material assistance. Identified all the requisition from Gloria Arroyo, 3 units F-16 Falcon jet fighters, 3 units B-52 bomber planes, 10 units of C-130 Hercules transport planes, 5 units MC-17 Globemaster transport planes, 10 units MG-520 Bronco attack helicopters, 10 units of AS-1 Cobra attack helicopters, 5 units MH-47E Chinook heavy assault helicopters, 30,000 pieces of M4 carbine assault rifles with night vision goggles, 50,000 units of M14 assault rifles. These armaments will be used by Kapgus, CVOs, and militiamen such as the Alliance of Vigilant Christian for Muslim Mindanao, the Filipino Crusaders World Army, Ilaga, Tagtad, the Spiritual Soldiers of God, and the Ejército de la Cruzada de las Islas Filipinas, DCP. These arms will be supplied to the Philippine-backed Tentera Republica Sulu dan Sabah, or the Royal Bangsamoro Army of the Republic of Sulu and Sabah, in claiming the North Borneo state without prejudice to the similar support enjoyed by the indigenous Kadazans. A half of these firearms will be slipped to Vatican and CIA-aided Christian guerrillas in Moluccas, Sulawesi, and East Timor, with the clandestine mutual collaboration of the air forces and navies of Singapore and Taiwan. Congratulations, Madam Gloria. Now you have stipulated the relevance of your request. The exact word, the Vatican and CIA aided Christian guerrillas guerrillas. You are bingo. You are now exposed. 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 11, 1,000 units of 105 mm and 155 howitzers. 12, installation of the Philippine Air Sea Surveillance System, the PAS, to protect Mindanao from the Islamic Revolution predicted by in 1997 by Your Excellency's predecessor, His Excellency, President Bill Clinton. Classmate, you are all classmate. Madam Gloria, your classmate is Bill Clinton. The arrangement can also provide the Philippines economic and trade assistance, access to loans, and the grants from IMF, the World Bank, increased bilateral trade and investment, and the adoption of the immediate conduct of Upland Kalayaan Aguila 202 will ensure my government's political stability till 2004. By eliminating the threat of military coup d'etat, it will also guarantee my victory in the forthcoming 2004 presidential election with the support of Your Excellency's economic recovery, one the target so balikatan are eliminated and peace and order reign. On the regional level, Balikatan will greatly enhance the fighting skills, knowledge, and experience of the 750 strong guerrillas from the Barisan Nasional Pembasahan Kadasan BNPK of Sabah, the Pertubuhan Perpaduan Pembesahan Iban Bidayo Dayak, the PPPP IBD of Sabah and Sarawak, the Liberation Tigers of Perak Silangor LTPS, the Gerakan Maluku Merdeka GMM, the Barisan Revolusi Nasional Sulawesi, the BRNS, Gerakan Ambon Siram Merdeka, both of Indonesia, and the Fuerza de Defensa Internal de Timor Oriental, the FDITO. We include as part of the AFP personnel participating in Balikatan War Games. They are strictly chosen from the respective movements who have been covertly undergoing guerrilla warfare and commando training in AFP camps in Palawan, Cebu, Bukidnon, Cotabato, Tarlac, and Nueva Ecija for almost 20 years now. Congratulations, Madam Gloria, for exposing what you have been doing in the most illegal way. And as we say, crime is triple because you have no authority to do so and you have no right to kill us all with your program with the United States of America. Since 1986, there is no government, legitimate governance. Only. This is a showcase of claimants. This is only for claiming. This is only for you as a claimant leaders. Just imagine with all of this now, you are trying to hail the Lord of Lords of the Cabal. As you continued, you can see, on the part of Your Excellency's government, the MLSA can be used to protect the four vital American interests in the Asia-Pacific region, namely, 1. Preventing denomination of the region by adversarial power such as China and the global Islamic movement. 2. Providing security on the Korean Peninsula against possible North Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and Russian invasions. 3. Ensuring commercial, political, and military access through the region by taking direct and involvement in regional economic groupings such as BIMP Iaga, Sijori Group, Triangle, Pearl River Delta Triangle, and the IMT Growth Triangle, and creation of conditions of various countries that would justify the intervention of the United States to force them seek U.S. military assistance. And 4th, containing nuclear weapons and missile technology being proliferated by adverse countries such as Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, North Korea, China, Malaysia, Brunei, Jerusalem, Indonesia, Myanmar, and Japan, while at the same time tolerating Israel, India, South Africa, Taiwan, Singapore, and South Korea. My government understands Your Excellency's government will soon proclaim the adverse countries as axis of evil, an axis of evil, and subject to the attacks like Afghanistan and Mindanao. Wow, Madam Gloria, you are the queen of the axis of evil. The MLSA can serve as a ground for developing our southern airport and seaports in line with U.S. airbase, standing without necessarily describing so in anticipation of permanent basing in line with the global repositioning and crusades against terrorism. While the U.S. is still developing this, my government has committed to allow Your Excellencies OSPACUM and other unified command of permanent and restricted access to all airports, air bases, and seaports every time the U.S. deems necessary to use as launching pads for future military action against China, Burma, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia, as well as the Islamic terrorists. The presence of these bases may also retrain the brewing threat of Chinese intrusion and hegemony of the Kalayaan Island and in the Southeast Asian countries as a whole. New bases can serve as alternative to the impending closure of U.S. bases in Japan and South Korea. May this humble representation of the Christian Filipino people inform Your Excellency that the signature campaign to have at least 7 or 10 million signatures from all over the Philippines and the Christian-dominated states and provinces in Malaysia and Indonesia being launched by the Discovery Crusade of the Philippines, petitioning Your Excellency's government to recall the 1935 Commonwealth Constitution and eventually declare the Commonwealth of Las Islas Filipinas, Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Sabah, Sarawak, Perlis, Penang, Selangor, Perak, Nakuku, East Timor, Sulawesi, or simply the Commonwealth of Christ in the Asia-Pacific is now halfway to fulfillment of its holy mission. Very soon, the 10 million signatures sought for the purpose will be submitted to Your Excellency's governmental for appropriate legal action, including sponsoring it to the United Nations Security Council and General Assembly for direct recognition. Accept, Your Excellency, the prayers of my family for the prosperity of the people of the United States of America and of the people of the Philippines, and to the assurances of my highest esteem and consideration. Your good friend, GMA Arroyo of the Republic of the Philippines, signed by both of them with their malacañang seal. Congratulations, everyone who are listening to this. No wonder Ama Ali strictly advised me not to deal with Malacañang. Ama may not know how to speak English. Ama had been deceived by Vatican, had been deceived by the claimants, royal family, had been deceived by the head of states. He is right. He is right. He knows that Malacañang is the greatest culprit of the history of mankind. You know, it's just my first time to read this. There are more into that. I know there are more into it. I will see and I will know, because there are still things there I just did not name it. Oh, because I know they are there. I am asking the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, Mayor Amin, can you still swallow this kind of documents? I met you. I have seen you. All of you, Yusuf Jikiri, we were together in Congress, but I didn't tell them of who I am. Now you can see by yourself. May all the soldiers of the Islamic defenders that they have targeted as their puppets rest in peace. I address these feelings of mine to the top ranks of the armed forces of the Philippines, of the armed forces of Malaysia. Your names are all there. Indonesia. All of you of the Southeast Asian continent. You are just puppets of Gloria Arroyo and his predecessor and the successors of Malacañang. This is very clear enough to see why you want to remain in power, to complete the conspiracy that you have. The bomb is very clear. It is the work of Mahathir. It is the work of Fidel Ramos. It is the work of Benigno Aquino Simeon III. It is the work of all the governments in there. And now Bongbong is there. You see the connectivity from the claim. Now, no wonder Bongbong is classified as terrorist in Malaysia because of his association with the Sultan claimant Muhammad Fuad Abdullah Kiram. Now, they tried to kill the MILF, but because of the schematic program of the OPAP, the Office of the Presidential Advisor for Peace Process, the enemy becomes the friend becomes the enemy. They can just simply switch off. Now, if really Maas is alive, he will not tolerate this. He's a very highly intellectual person. But look at that. Look what you have done. We are all puppets because we are Islam. You want to establish the axis of evil or the axis of light. You really would like to kill the Muslim. So what can you say now? And I would like to make this document as a part of what is happening in Israel and in Palestine right now. America, the padrino, the godfather of all this war and chaos, because of the oil field. Because of the oil field. You cannot blame the poor people to uprise against you because you have really severely used them at the expense of their lives, killing them in hunger because you want to take dominion over the power and authority that is not yours. Congratulations, Bongbong. I'd like to see the Gloria that you have, because all I know, I was waiting that he would be declared dead because I know she is not the one. Do you see? But even if she is alive, this proclamation, this one that documents that you should read. And do you have still the face to go around? If I were you, You better make a decision now. You are not the president. You better have to use your brain. Now your padrino, your godfather, and the one, because I can see now the claim of the side of Bulungan and the claim of the entire schematic collective move of the claimants. I can see that now. You have used different tactics, but still you cannot win because you are all doing the lie of your life. The government full of lies. The government full of strategy just to oppress and suppress the poor people of the sovereign. Thank you, dear Father, for enlightening me and brave enough, brother, to really tackle on this day. What is done is already known to the world. They can pay to annihilate. They can pay because they want to remain in power. Thank you for guiding me, for shedding light, and may this light reach us to the far end of this world so that they would know who is behind war and chaos. Trust no more. Stand up, you people. Save yourself and save your loved ones. This is Queen Helen of the Richard, giving you my love and support. To all my Muslim brothers in Sulu, in Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, and in Sabah, I have not failed to defend each one of you. But if you continue to support them who are the puppets of Malacañang, then you yourself cannot achieve what you want in life. Peace and prosperity. Defend your life. Defend yourself. Defend your family. This is all I want. Because we have been governed by liars, by oppressors and suppressors, by the claws of the politician and the military. They have no more authority. They have nothing. We have to fight for it. And I know what I am doing now is very strong. I am courageous to say this because I love each and every one of you. I don't want to see you more suffer because of their doing. They should be the one to serve us, not to hurt us. And that's what I want. Give them the share of the pain that they have to suffer for killing us all. Thank you very much. Good morning. God bless everyone. Allah protects us.